Disturbing as they are to watch, I figured you'd find some morbid enjoyment from our collection of clips today. From someone almost getting their head bit off to a croc biting off far more than they could chew, here are 10 of the scariest crocodile attacks caught on camera. Number 10. Jaws Meathead. If you like danger but don't like to take part in any dangerous activity yourself, one of the best things you could do is watch crocodile shows in zoos. Thailand is the perfect destination for them, and these shows feature many of these vicious reptiles interacting with zookeepers in various dangerous situations. Most of these are brought about by the zookeepers themselves. These brave people get into crocodile enclosures where they get up close and personal with these giant reptiles, often feeding them, wrangling them, and sometimes even kissing them on the snout. Always in front of an astonished, often terrified crowd. Now, most of the time, shows like these do end safely. Zookeepers are always careful around these animals, fully knowing how unpredictable they can be, but sometimes they get too overconfident, which leads to disastrous results. This particular zookeeper just had to stick his head inside the gaping jaws of a croc. Usually he'd put a couple of sticks in there to wedge the croc's mouth open, but this time he either forgot to or was confident that the croc wouldn't shut his jaws closed. Big mistake on his end. The big croc did shut its mouth, and not only that, it swung its head from side to side, trying to rip the poor man's head off of his shoulders. Don't worry though, this is a family channel, so this ends pretty well. Help did arrive soon enough, making sure the man walked away with both his head and also his life. However, something tells me he's not gonna be that eager to do this stunt again. Number 9. Caught in a death roll. All pro wrestlers have a finishing move. You know, that move that they make that usually results in a 3 count. Now, if crocodiles were pro wrestlers, their finishers would definitely be the infamous death roll. The move itself entails the crocodile's jaws clamping onto a body part, usually one of the extremities, and then rolling around until whatever is in its mouth gets ripped off. They do this just in case they brought down a prey that's far too big for them to swallow whole, allowing them to tear out huge but more manageable chunks. I'm pretty sure you can imagine how gory a scene that is, so if you're in one of those crocodile shows, it's not something you want to see up close and personal. However, that's what the audience of this particular crocodile show witnessed. Now fortunately, it wasn't a head this time that was in the croc's mouth, but rather an arm, but that doesn't make the scene more palatable to the senses or the queasy. To cut a long story short, the man's arm was broken, but even so admitted that he was lucky to be alive. Number 8. Painful photo op. There are many safe ways to handle crocodiles, but the safest way is to never actually touch them at all. However, if you really gotta, make sure you listen to the experts. Sort of like the experts that run the Atake Crocodile Farm, a place where people can actually interact with crocodiles living in their natural environment. Most of these crocs are used to human presence and are regularly fed, which makes sure that the guests who visit the place are in relative safety, despite the close proximity of the animals to humans. Employees there are so confident that no one's going to be attacked that they even allow tourists to take photos with the crocs. And you know, normally that's the case. Not on this day, however. The woman in orange made the mistake of touching the croc on its side, one place you should never touch an already irritated croc. In a split second, the croc chomped down on the woman's hand, sending the watching crowd into a panic. Now, although the video didn't show what actually happened, we can infer from the squeals of terror, it definitely wasn't good. Number 7. Dog vs. Gator. Oh, I don't want to read this one already. Let's get it over with. According to the video's description, a family was walking along a river in Brazil with their 2 dogs when they spotted a large alligator in the river. Curious as to what the object in the water was, one of the dogs decided to get a closer look and jumped into the water, despite the frantic cries of its owner to come back to them. At first, the calls did work, and the dog swam back to shore, but the gator made another noise, prompting the dog to go back into the water and go after it. This time, the dog wasn't able to escape. It was over in a split second. The dog approached, the gator attacked, and then complete silence, except for the terrified cries of the dog's owners. I really don't like this already. Number 6. Croc vs. Croc. I can deal with this one. Crocodiles are vicious predators, but don't take my word for it. Even then, with the mightiest of predators, prey isn't as easy to come by as we think. Most hunts actually come up in failure, and if it goes that way, even mighty predators can grow hungry and desperate. When prey is scarce, though, all crocodilians can do the unthinkable: cannibalism, or eating even their own kind. Cannibalism among crocodilians is more common in the wild, but it does happen in captivity as well. Such is the case of this unnamed crocodile sanctuary, where visitors were looking at crocodiles in an enclosure when one of them suddenly decided to bite the leg of another croc, and then have a death roll. The sound of bone crunching as the leg was torn away is truly unnerving, as evidenced by the gasps of those who witnessed it. Number 5. Crocodile attacks a lawnmower. In this zoo in Australia, zookeepers picked the wrong time to decide to mow the crocodile's enclosure's lawn. The resident large clock, named Elvis, didn't take too kindly to this routine, albeit loud housekeeping activity, and did what any ill-mannered crocodile would, attack the source of this noise. Elvis didn't only attack the lawnmower, he knew exactly what to do to shut it up. He knew exactly to drag the machine underwater. Of course, zookeepers had to get the lawnmower back, but it proved no easy feat. The angry croc had to be distracted with food and lured away from the mower before it could be retrieved. I'm pretty sure that the zookeepers would make sure not to disturb Elvis the next time they decide to mow that lawn. Number 4. Faster than a cheetah. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals on the planet, we all know this. When it comes to raw speed and acceleration, no one can match them. That speed makes them formidable predators, and not a lot of animals prey on them. But despite their blistering speed, they can be caught, usually by predators who use the element of surprise. And no one is better at ambushing prey than crocs. This clip also makes me sad. In this very hard to watch, yet still admittedly amazing clip, a cheetah cub was being observed and streamed live by Wild Earth, who decided to drink from a watering hole. One of the observers noticed a large croc was also in the watering hole. The problem is the croc was so well hidden just under the surface of the water that the young cheetah didn't notice it. All it took was one strike and it was over. This is similar to the earlier video that made me sadder with the dog. It was over in a split second, and after the violent attack, there was an eerie quiet. Disturbing as this footage may be, it is important to remember that this sort of thing always does happen in the wild, and predators killing prey is part of everyday life. Crocodiles aren't evil, they just follow instinct, and it's a circle of life. Even then, it doesn't exactly make this easier to watch. Number 3. Also a scavenger. We all seem to think of crocodiles as being very active hunters, and while there's no denying that they are, they can also be opportunistic as well, and they're not going to say no to stealing the hard-earned catch of other predators, as this video is going to prove. A male lion was trying to drag his kill through a swamp. Well, I assumed it was his kill. Male lions are also notorious for bullying other creatures and taking away the spoils of their own hunt from them as well. However, for the sake of convenience, let's just assume it was him who brought it down. Anyways, very few animals are going to try and take away a large male lion from his kill, and one of them is definitely a croc. This clip clearly shows the croc going after the lion's kill, and continues to go after it after the lion confronts it. In fact, it never backed down once. While the clip itself is too short to find out whether the croc was successful, let's still give it credit for having the guts to go one-on-one with the king of the jungle. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's best pick is a submission from a subscriber just like you. So if you come across a photo online and want to know more about it, send it on over to us and we'll look into it for you. Who knows, might even feature it in a future video. With that said, number 2. The strongest bite. For the longest time, scientists thought that the T-Rex had the strongest bite force of any animal that existed. However, that was recently disproven, and the strongest bite force ever actually belonged to an extinct crocodilian. An international team of researchers from several universities published its 10-year-old study that determined the largest extinct crocodiles had bite forces that exceeded 23,000 pounds, a force twice as great as the T-Rex. That bite force has been inherited by all living crocodilians, especially the saltwater crocodile, pictured here holding a severed human hand in its jaws. This photo is 100% real and was first published by National Geographic. Although nothing was mentioned as to the events leading to the severed hand ending up where it was, National Geographic was happy to report that the very same arm was successfully reattached to its owner. So, all's well that ends well, I suppose. National Geographic gives no craps when it comes to their content. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. A shocking attack. All throughout this video, we've seen crocodiles attack men, women, various animals, and even a lawnmower. All these attacks have been favorable for the crocodile in one way or another, so I figured we'd end this video with a failed attack that ended up badly for the croc. Very badly, because the croc decided to make a meal out of an electric eel, which is, needless to say, another extremely dangerous animal. When threatened, the electric eel can generate up to 600 volts of electricity to keep their predators at bay, sometimes even killing them. The video shows us the croc stunned and writhing from all the electricity running through its body. You'd think it actually died from the shock, but it recovered and did walk away. But I bet you it learned its lesson not to attack one of these shocking animals. If you see other crocodile attacks caught on camera, send it on over to us or leave a comment down below. Also make sure to check out the channel's other amazing videos. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody.